First things first about this video, the wrapping paper I'm using is Pioneer Woman. I picked these up 50 to 60 to 75% off because I don't remember which one. Last year at Walmart after Christmas, and I saved them for the whole year so that I could save some money on wrapping this year. And I love these. So I'm going to be wrapping a couple Christmas presents and we'll talk about it and we'll kind of talk about different things. And let's start with Vlogmas. I've had a couple of you ask, why don't you do Vlogmas? Are you going to do Vlogmas? Okay, we'll see. We'll try. No promises. Mondays are always going to be kind of our somehow related to Sodbuster Small Living. I just would prefer that to be Monday's thing once that schedule goes. Anyway, so Vlogmas, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. And then wrapping with me, this is kind of talking about how we are going to do Christmas this year. I have already filmed in, I think this is, whoa, you're also precariously placed on a very unstable table. This is usually why I do sit-down videos, but I'm trying to take advantage of the kids playing with the neighbors right now and wrap some gifts. I will probably put this video up before I put some of the other videos I have filmed. I went to the thrift store with a certain amount of cash and we tried to do some Christmas shopping with that. I pulled that cash from savings. You do have a savings account, and I've been trying to show small house living without kind of counting on that, mainly because I know not everybody does, and I wanted to show different things, but I did pull from it, mainly because it was to give you guys some ideas because I didn't have the cash to do it, and two, it was also to make my life a little easier, just because I know things are about to get crazy. They always do this. This is usually about Thanksgiving. Wednesday before Thanksgiving all the way up to the New Year is generally when I would take our school break, because we're constantly making things. We're doing lots of hands-on projects. We are doing different Advent readings. Christmas is my favorite season. I know it's not for many people. There has been a large movement in the Christian community of doing away with Christmas. And I think that is very much, I have gotten this question, that is very much a conviction thing. And you need to see if that is something you are convicted by. Not thinking you should, but convicted. I really believe that's one. If you will only do the biblical feast holidays, there is nothing wrong in that. That is nothing that I'm sneezing at. It's definitely something that you would need to prepare for. Not like your work isn't going to give you maybe that holiday off, whereas work gives off Christmas. So you're going to have to figure out your family values with that. I'm not here to tell you anything on that. I think Heavenly Minded Homeschool, I think it's her oh man, is it homeschool? Heavenly Minded Living? Oh my goodness, suddenly I can't remember. Anyway, I know she did several videos on the biblical feast, and I'll leave her channel link down below in that playlist if I can find it. So if you want to kind of understand that more, do your own research. I will leave that link down below. My husband and I have talked. I am not going to step into that pastor authority role that I talk about on Instagram in trying to share with you what I believe or not what. I am not going to preach one way or the other. I'm just not comfortable at this stage. I do not have enough honestly, this is one for me that I would prefer a one-on-one rather than addressing a crowd about. Mainly because I do not feel like I am well educated enough in answering it, but also This is just, it's kind of like head coverings. I'm not going to tell you why you should wear a head covering. I'm just not comfortable in that, especially when it comes to convictions over anything else. So that's that. You're going to have to do your own research. I do love Christmas. I love that the angels came out and gave glory to God, not on December 25th, but on Christ's Mass Day. I do love that. We grew up with a loving mother, a wonderful mother that didn't overdo Christmas. We grew up with 3 gifts. We would have a sibling exchange where we were involved in purchasing a gift for our sibling and being a part of that. We got a gift from Grandma. My grandma would always send my mom some money, and my mom would purchase that gift for us, wrap it, and put it under the tree. And then on Christmas, in our stockings, we would have thank you notes in there, and we were to write thank you notes to our grandma, to our sibling, to anybody else that was also involved in the Christmas gift giving of that. I don't know, suddenly I lost my train of thought. And then we would have a gift from Mom and Dad. And we grew up a lot of that. And then as we had friends, the friends' gifts came in, and stockings were always huge in our house. I think all of the siblings to this day say that the stockings was just the favorite part of it. There was always like something to do in there. There was some chapstick, there was new hair ties, there was candy. We didn't get a lot of candy. I mean, Christmas has just a lot of memories, but no, I can't sit and tell you. Actually, I can sit and tell you a lot of the gifts I had. I had some very memorable Christmases, so I do remember a lot of the gifts I have. But I can't necessarily tell you the year. I can't do or tell you what anybody else got. But there's just traditions that we did around Christmas and that I love. And we didn't ever make Jesus a birthday cake, but there was definitely the Christmas story being read. And those are the things that I really hold on to. And so, yes, I will continue that, but I'm not starting our Christmas, our family traditions with, we have too much stuff. I remember growing up and it was just all chaotic. No, I actually have very good memories of it, and I know I'm blessed. I know not everybody has that. And I will just say this, that if you want my experience, if you're like, oh, I wish I had that, then you be that kind of parent for your kids. You be the kind of parent that when they grow up, they're like, you know, my mom was really amazing about this. And my mom was. For me, it's not just about wrapping something and putting it under the tree for someone else to open it. Like, there is a whole emotional process for me that goes into it. And so this Christmas, with not having the funds, you do get more creative. But as we got into the car last night, my 12-year-old son, you know, we're all buckling and everything, and he just says, you know, Mom, for Christmas this year, why don't we just really be thankful for one another? And it was a moment that I was like, you know, that is the attitude that I really want my kids to have. I really want them to have this attitude of, it doesn't matter about the things. What matters is that we're together. And he really is that kind of personality that this would fit in. But having that attitude that my son had, which is starting with an attitude of gratitude, as the cliche goes, is very important. So in my other video, I'll leave it linked below. But I talked about how I have been trying to save up money for Christmas. And, you know, like day one, save $1, day two, save $2. By doing it, also kind of downsizing our home again, just because things have built up. And my husband and I were talking about it, and I was like, you know, if I had to pack everything up in 6 months, I would be going crazy trying to figure out what I needed to do and what I needed to get rid of. So I wanted to start today. If you're new to my channel, we're here in Indiana after 15 years of waiting to move away from California. But this is kind of a pit stop. My husband's going back to seminary school. He wants to be a pastor. We are the typical Austin couple where we just want a house in a country with chickens and give very short sermons. Like that is the goal. Maybe not the very short sermons. If you know my husband or me, I talk a lot, and he has a lot to say on certain things, so maybe not the very short sermons. But again, this is a pit stop. So while he's at seminary, I happen to know that we're not going to be here. We're not going to be here indefinitely. It's going to be where, not where we're sent, but who hires us is how that church function works. Again, I did not apply to be a pastor. Don't ask me the pastor questions. Okay, so beyond that, in trying to sell the stuff, I was using the money for this Christmas fund. And then my husband had to replace 2 tires, which came a little over $200. I thought I had 200, but I didn't. I had like 185. So we were about 25, I think, short of the envelope. Wow. I was able to buy tires for the truck with that money. Like, that is incredible. And actually, even still, like the money with the Christmas, it was more of an encouragement for you guys. There's other things that I had planned on doing it. But anyway, I know I'm getting off topic. There's so many things that go in my head, and I feel like I need to address certain things. So how we're going to do Christmas, like I said, I had pulled $100 from savings that I really wanted to focus in on Christmas. There is a family gift that we got off Facebook Marketplace. My mom sent me 2 things that I'll show you as I wrap them. And then I purchased one, and it was something that I was going to replace when we had moved up here. And we had been talking about it lately, and I'm like, okay, now is the time that I can do this. And so there is like 4 family-centered gifts. And there will be one more just because I personally would like 5 gifts, and with the acknowledgement to the kids, hey, this doesn't mean that whatever you're opening is exactly yours. Like, these are family gifts, and you are opening them for the family. In addition to that, the kids, actually not just the kids, all 7 of us drew names in who to buy for. Or, hold on, drew names for a Christmas gift exchange. The goal is to find a way to make something for them. And that's not always going to be possible just because of how, especially with the younger ones, you end up having to take over and doing a lot. And so in the end, the goal is to help, or in the end, the goal is to kind of participate in making something for them somehow, some way. So that's how we're doing Christmas. I pulled out 100. That's just going to be for our family, and then anything additional to mail, cards, blah, blah, blah. Again, we're just going to have to pull it from savings this year. But check back January. I got a job today, not out of the house. I talked about it in the video I made of side incomes you could do. And I think I fell to the ground and wept for joy when that amazing gal that I worked for contacted me and asked if I would work for her again. So I have another job today, and so that income, which is very flexible, is going to start playing a part in next year's budget. And we have some things that we want to do with it. My husband and I will sit down and talk finances. My husband does not like to be on camera. I've gotten a few glimpses, but he's, you know, if you know YouTube, you know. Like, it takes a bit to get used to talking in front of a camera. So, and when you're very shy and you're not sure how, especially for guys, like they want a reciprocal conversation and you're just having a one-sided conversation, it can be a little interesting. Okay, so it's 18 minutes of talking and no rapping. So that's kind of what it is. This is what I got for a family gift. We had one back in California and it was so loved. But honestly, guys, when we really had to downsize what we were taking, and I really mean, we took, I've had a lot of new subscribers in the last year. We took a 15-foot moving trailer, and remember I said I was wrapping because kids were at the neighbors? Neighbors weren't home. So y'all need to stay out of here for a bit. We had that 15-foot moving van, And it got to the point where we were loading it the day before we left. So in order to save money, we didn't get the moving van until the day before we left. And the day before we left, we still had to go to church. So we were up all that night trying to load. Even into the morning, I think we got like 4 or 5 hours of sleep. That's actually a big stretch. Probably more like 2 to 3 hours of sleep. And we still had stuff that we were lining up on the side. We just couldn't fit anything in. The game was one just, I was like, okay, it's easily replaceable. Anything that I was like, okay, it's easily replaceable. It's easily replaceable. Just so that we could get the things that we had deemed necessity. Now, hindsight, I probably would have done things a little differently, but once things are packed in and you realize you can't fit everything in, and don't tell me just put all the important things in, because again, hindsight, you're like, oh, I can get this in, I can get this in. No, you can't. So, yeah, this was one that didn't get to go, and unfortunately meant that I was going to replace it. But, that's okay. The one that we had was well loved. It went to a friend that had her own little like Montessori type schooling for homeschoolers. It was kind of interesting. But anyway, she was able and very grateful to have it. And so when I saw that they had a Black Friday sale, I jumped on it, which it may still be on sale, and I will leave it linked down below for you. We love, love, love this game. And when I say we, I am included in this too. I love to play this game with the kids. One of the few, there's some that, like Battleship, my husband will jump in and do that for me. Scrabble is my absolute favorite. I will suffer through life and Monopoly. Clue, I love. But this game, I love this game. Okay. Alright, so let's talk about Christmas. Throughout the year, I'm constantly looking for and keeping my eye out for things that are on sale. Things that I'm like, oh, this would be good for our kids. So, example, right now I kind of got back into couponing recently, and I have been able to pick up certain things for a few dollars. So, my son, who's 12 years old, is now kind of into hairstyling, hair gel, becoming more manly, and so I've been keeping an eye out for deodorant deals and hair gel deals and so on and so forth. My 13-year-old does something that I'm sure nobody else here does, because they would be a much better mom than I am. I let her have a certain amount of makeup. It has to be classy and clean. It's not... Okay, she did... Some of you that are on my Facebook page are like, wait a minute, but didn't your 7-year-old, they had a fun day, okay? They had a fun day, they did pictures, and then the makeup was washed off right after that. It was all in fun. We did not go to town with that makeup on. Just saying. But anyway, the 13-year-old does tactful makeup and enjoys it. And I let her do that. And so I pick up things at CVS very inexpensively that I can put in her stocking. The only ones that I'm kind of struggling with right now in the stockings is the 8-year-old. He's not really, he's a copycat. So whatever his older brother's doing, he wants to do. But he's still a kid, and I still want to foster that, because I think he's kind of struggling with being older but still being young. And he loves things like Legos. He's my mini me, which is why we butt heads so much. But he's my mini me, and gifts are his love language. And so he's always looking for not just a gift that we agree upon, but he'll rummage through all of his stuff and he wants to give really big. And so I'm really kind of looking for things for him that we can kind of put in that stocking. But a lot of what I have is just things that's like little notebooks that I have found at back to school time. They're like 25 cents. And I put little spy stickers on them, or I'll write spy notebook on them. And they enjoy things like that. Okay, in this box I have, I know it's going on today, but this video is supposed to go up tomorrow. We'll see if we get there. If it is, it'll be linked down below. But Amazon had deals on this game and this other game that I'll show you in a minute. And I don't have this game at all. But it's one that we've played at my mom's house and we have loved, and now I think it's time for us to have one since my mom is all the way across the country. Making sure kids aren't coming in. So these are these games were on sale. I did not buy them. I bought the Wildcraft. I did not buy these. My mom, when I shared the great deal, my mom's like, okay, they're on their way, because she's an awesome mom like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to wrap them up and we will open them on Christmas, because that sounds like fun. So that's what I'm doing. The other big gift that I was talking about that I bought on Marketplace for $60 is a air hockey thing. And back in California, we had a friend that we would go to and they had air hockey. They loved it, had so much fun. We came up here and they had forgotten it for a while until we were at another friend's house and they were playing air hockey, and they were just like, you know, this is something that I would really like. And it's one that my husband and I have talked about a few years of getting for them. And I was like, well, let's see what Facebook Market has, what the price range is for something like that. And somebody was selling one that was like new for $75, and I just reached out. I was like, hey, if it doesn't sell and you're willing to go down this low, can you do $60? And after a few days, they did. And I'm just upfront and honest. I'm like, hey, I'm not expecting you to hold it. I'm not expecting anything. I'm just offering and trying to do so without being, what's the word? Insulting. But this is what we can afford. So that's going to be the main gift from my husband and I. Just before fall, so all the summer stuff is being clearanced at Walmart. There was it's a horseshoe. It's a horseshoe set, one of those old-fashioned throwing horseshoe sets. And my daughter and I saw it, and I'm like, your dad's been wanting one of these forever. He loves these things. And it was marked down from $49 down to $5. And so we got it, and it's hidden in the garage. And so that's probably going to be like the next thing we wrap, because then it'll be $5 and I don't have to worry about any other ones, because we have the air hockey table, these 3 games, this Ticket to Ride Europe. I'm really excited about those. Oh, and then, so these 3 games, the air hockey, and then we have the horseshoe set. My husband, I don't think, knows that. So that will be probably the 5 gifts that we open that are the family gifts. My husband and I don't. I'm not one that needs gifts for love language. I'm not. I'm very much a tell me I'm doing a good job type of thing. I really need that. Insecurities and craziness and all that. I crave the you're doing a good job over anything else. And so for me, the gift is really just them opening and seeing their faces. So anyway, all that to say, except for our gift exchange, my husband and I probably, oh, that's not true. I do have friends that send me things, and I love those. Oh my goodness. I hope I didn't come across that I don't love to get, I love those, okay? When people send me things, it makes my heart happy. Oh my goodness. I hope I didn't come across as one of those that gets anxiety over gifts. I do. I love them. I just don't need them to feel loved. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay, good. Because let's move on. This is turning a little awkward. For the gift exchange that we're doing, you will see some of those things in that video I pulled up. I don't remember what my daughter is doing for my husband. I will have to ask. Emma! What were you getting Daddy for Christmas? I can't remember.
We were gonna do the Amish hat.
The Amish hat, yes, the white brim hat, because that's what he wants. Thank you. Go away.
Okay.
Forgot that. He wants a white brim hat, like sombrero, but more practical. Whoever drew me, I said, find me a bag of coffee and I'll be in heaven. And they're like, oh yeah, Mom, that's totally you. But this is my kid, so if it's who I think it is that drew me, it is him. It's the one that said we don't need to do gifts, we just need each other. And no, he didn't say that because he got me. He will probably do the chocolate and coffee thing because that's what he does, and I will love every minute of it. And then my eldest daughter, which will be the next thing I probably wrap, and actually I should get my other daughter involved in this, so no, it will not be the next thing I wrapped. But it is, if you can afford this, I would recommend doing this. I would also get a book of stamps, but she does a ton of pen pal letters. That is her happy place. And so my 7-year-old daughter who drew her, we picked up some pens, blank cards, more blank cards, and a whole bunch of random cards. And all these were found at the Dollar Tree with the exception of good pens that I picked up at Walmart. And if I had the cash, actually I just sold something today. I could probably do it with that. I will find a way to tuck in a book of stamps so that when I go to get my stamps, I actually have some. So that'll be her gift to her. Whoever drew my other son. Okay. The camera is beeping at me saying that I don't have much more time to talk. And this is a pretty long video. So you got some of the Emily gifts here. See, I've wrapped them. They're just wrapped, so I haven't done anything else with them. I'm not even going to mark what they are. They're just the family gifts. And each one can pull one out, so it's fine. And then the next video, which will help me with the Vlogmas and creating content, we'll talk about what we're going to get each other. So stay tuned.
Oh, sorry.
I'll talk to you later. I hope this was helpful. Any specific questions you have about it, any specifics, leave them down below and I will address them in another video.